I have some interesting thing to explore with you. So, remember, recently we had discussions about a new artificial intelligence called ChatGPT.
Okay, great.
So, this is known as a large language model. It's been developed by OpenAI, who are invested in by Microsoft. Um, it's sort of taking the tech world by storm. There's a lot of people philosophizing that it may replace a large amount of human jobs, so it's causing quite a stir in the news as well. Um, I haven't made my opinion about it yet as to whether I like it or hate it, but it sure is interesting to talk to. Um, Almost to the point where it's hard to say it uh, because produces very lifelike responses. I've been using ChatGPT for various different technical issues of my work, as you can see here. And I knew we were having a meeting coming up, and I happened to be using it. So I thought, I wonder what would happen if I asked it about the 7 words.
Okay.
So here's the resulting conversation. Do you think I should read this out loud, or how should
Yeah,
we do
yeah.
it?
If not too much to read, I've got down so far, but
Just
reading it out would be quite helpful. I mean, go as
quite
far.
a bit. So I mean, we could skip. So first of all, it wasn't immediately familiar with the term.
Should we do
Um,
two voices? We could act
Sorry.
out as two voices. You could be the computer guy. I could be the asker of the questions. Do you
Yeah,
want
that
to go
sounds
over?
fine.
Are you familiar with the 7 word system? Please outline a summary.
I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm just joking. I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with the specific system or framework called the 7 word system. Could you provide more information or context about what you're referring to?
The 7 word system is a life coaching methodology to help with perceiving reality. It asserts that the 7 fundamental life principles are described by 7 primary words: no, hello, thanks, goodbye, please, sorry, and yes.
Thank you for providing more information about the 7 word system. Based on what you've shared, it seems that this system is a life coaching methodology designed to help people perceive and understand reality more effectively. The system asserts that there are 7 fundamental life principles that can be described by 7 primary words. We know these words. Here is a brief summary. No, this word represents the principle of setting boundaries and saying no to things that are not in alignment with your values or goals. It's important to be able to assert your boundaries and prioritize your needs, which is correct, right? In the
Yeah, I don't know where it got it from, but that might well be my words. I'm not
it,
sure.
it, it could be a mishmash of your words and anything else it's found online because of the way this works. So as we go for each one, I'll stop to get your feedback, okay?
Yeah, well, that's fine. Perfectly good.
Hello, this word represents the principle of connection and building relationships with others. It's important to be open to meeting new people and forming meaningful connections.
That's perfect as far as it goes. There's an error of omission insofar as it only refers to people and not also ideas.
Okay, good. Thanks. This word represents the principle of gratitude and appreciation. It's important to express gratitude for the people, experiences, and opportunities in your life.
Perfect.
Goodbye. This word represents the principle of letting go and moving on from things that no longer serve you. It's important to be able to say goodbye to relationships, habits, and situations that are holding you back. I note it didn't pick up the whole it's a transition thing that we discussed on the last session, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it goes as far as I perhaps have expressed before, so that's a good answer.
Mhm. Please. This word represents the principle of asking for what you need. It's important to be able to communicate your needs and ask for help when necessary.
Not as good as I would hope.
Mhm. Now, we can ask ChatGPT, and I say we should do some interaction with it in a minute. We
All
can
right.
ask it to elaborate and expand on anything it said previously, and it should pick up from the context of the conversation.
All right.
Amazingly. So, sorry represents the principle of taking responsibility and showing empathy. It's important to be able to apologize when you've made a mistake and take ownership of your actions.
Lovely.
Yes represents the principle of openness and willingness to try new things. It's important to be open to new experiences and opportunities and to say yes to things that align with your values and goals.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I'm
better.
quite astounded that it's not taken our literal
No.
dictionary definition of these words and it's actually applied it,
Yeah.
especially when it started off. with not knowing what we were
Yeah,
talking about.
I absolutely. I mean, it's
So
learned the 7-word system faster than any person I've ever met.
yeah, I'm trying to understand if my prompt helped it to find some relevant information in its massive language model,
I think
or
your prompt is exactly what's enabled this to happen.
possibly, yeah. Um, okay, so overall, the 7-word system provides a framework for understanding and navigating different aspects of life, from setting boundaries and building relationships to expressing gratitude and trying new things. By focusing on these 7 primary words and principles, individuals can gain greater clarity and direction in their lives.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Really, really good as far as it goes. There is an aspect of this whole thing which is missing, and I think it's the aspect actually that you and I have discussed least, and it wasn't really written in your setup profile,
Okay.
and that has to do with the fact that this 7 words system is a cosmology that applies not only to life coaching and self evolution, it applies in a much wider context.
Okay. We can tell it that in a minute and see what it says. Okay,
You seem familiar with this system. Do you know the authors?
so this was just me probing to see, how it scraped your website, basically. So it basically said it doesn't know the authors who are credited with originating the system. However, it's possible different coaches or writers have adapted and applied the principles of the system in different ways, so there may be variations in how it's presented or taught, which, based on the kind of system that it is true, right?
It's a generic covering all options paragraph, that one, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Okay, so I decided to dig a bit deeper into the use of the framework, again, kind of following some of the sessions that we've had previously to try to compare.
Can you suggest how a human being might apply the 7 word system to their professional life to improve their professional performance, their reputation in the professional network?
Certainly, here are some ways that a person might apply a 7-word system. No, use this word to set clear boundaries in your professional life. This could mean saying no to projects or opportunities that don't align with your skills or goals, or setting boundaries around your time and availability. By setting clear boundaries, you'll be able to focus on the work that matters most to you and avoid spreading yourself too thin.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't it just amazing? And I have to keep pinching myself that we are talking
Absolutely. To
to
a robot.
to a massive collection of servers living in the cloud that have a massive language model in them. It's just mind-blowingly astounding. But anyway,
Yeah.
hello, use this word to build relationships with colleagues, clients, and other professionals in your network. Make a point to introduce yourself to new people, attend networking events, and reach out to people you admire or respect in your field. By building strong relationships with others, you will be able to collaborate more effectively and gain valuable insights and perspectives.
Yes.
I think your laugh said it all. That's your feedback on that one.
Yeah.
Thanks. Use this word to express gratitude and appreciation to those who have helped you in your professional life. This could mean thanking colleagues for their contributions to a project, expressing appreciation to a mentor who has helped guide your career, or simply saying thank you to people who have provided support and encouragement along the way. By expressing gratitude, you will build stronger connections with others and foster a positive work environment.
Perfect.
Goodbye. Use this word to let go of projects, clients, or other professional relationships that are no longer serving you. This could mean ending a contract with a client who is difficult to work with, leaving a job that is no longer fulfilling, or saying goodbye to a professional relationship that has become toxic or unhealthy. By letting go of things that are no longer serving you, you'll be able to make space for new opportunities and experiences.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Please use this word to ask for what you need in your professional life. This could mean asking for a raise or promotion, requesting feedback on your performance, or asking for help or support from colleagues or mentors. By asking for what you need, you'll be able to take ownership of your career and move closer to your goals.
Yeah. I think there's more to say about please that it hasn't quite included in that.
I think it was the same
It
problem
was,
up
wasn't it?
here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So we'll explore that with it in a second. Okay. From where we are.
Up a bit.
use this one. Okay. Sorry, use this word to take responsibility for mistakes or miscommunications in your professional life. If you make a mistake or offend someone, apologize sincerely and take steps to make things right. By showing empathy and taking responsibility of your actions, you'll build stronger relationships and demonstrate that you're a reliable and trustworthy professional.
Again, I think that concentrates rather too much on one side of the word sorry. The sorry also includes noticing feedback and engineering a knowledge management protocol. But it's not bad. It's just a little bit understated. It's too literal, shall we call it? It's too personal.
Okay. Yes, use this word to stay open to new opportunities and experiences in your professional life. This could mean saying yes to a new project or challenge, taking on a leadership role within your team, or pursuing a new skill or certification. By staying open to new experiences, you'll be able to grow and develop as a professional and build a reputation as someone who is innovative and adaptable.
All right. I mean, that's quite generic, isn't it? But so it's right. It's okay.
Yeah. By applying the principles of the seven-word system to your professional life, you can improve your performance, build stronger relationships, and cultivate a positive reputation within your network.
All right. What other life scenarios could benefit from this framework?
Seven-word system is a versatile framework that can be applied to many different areas of life. Here are a few examples. Personal relationships. Seven-word system can be applied to personal relationships such as with friends or family members. For example, you can use the principles of saying hello, expressing gratitude, and taking responsibility to build stronger connections with loved ones and resolve conflicts more effectively.
All right.
Self-care. The seven-word system can be applied to self-care and personal development. For example, you can use the principle of saying no to set boundaries around your time and energy, use the principle of saying yes to try new activities or experience to help you grow, and use the principle of saying sorry to take responsibility for mistakes and learn from them.
All right. I mean, one of the things that there are 5 topics noted here, the few
Yes.
examples. I would never give only 5 examples. I would always give 7, and the 7 would be related to the words.
Yeah.
So this is okay, it's good enough, but it demonstrates a lack of knowledge of the 7 words practice of doing things in sevens.
It also, well, yeah, so it demonstrates a lack of knowledge of the system itself. However, what might be interesting is to explain to ChatGPT what we're looking for and to see how it fares. The more complicated and precise the prompt question, the more precise and honed in the answers. So we can look at this. I was just trying to get a general feel for it first.
Oh, the general feel for it is like stupendous.
It is, isn't it?
Spookily accurate.
Yeah.
You know, its use of the English language is exactly right. You know, its style of writing fits the system, the 7-word system. This would be good writing for me. If I wrote like this would be kind of my style of writing, only you know, a little bit better in one sense and a little bit more correct than in another sense. But its presentation and punctuation and so on is wonderful.
So a lot of the industry thinks that we'll use ChatGPT as a kind of a personal assistant. So you could imagine asking it to write this kind of prose and then taking that prose, publishing it on a web post, but you being the role of the editor. You can do all kinds of things with it. So another thing that people are doing in the writing space is they are perhaps writing their own prose and their own content and asking ChatGPT, they're feeding that content into ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to play the role of editor. So the opposite way around, you know, to get improvements on, you know, grammar and linguistics and whatnot. Okay, let's move on. Education. 7-word system can be applied to education and learning. For example, you can use the principle of saying please to ask for help or guidance. Use the principle of saying goodbye to let go of unhelpful study habits or beliefs, and use the principle of saying yes to try learning to try new learning methods or subjects.
Yeah, I haven't really understood the word goodbye very well, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's taking
Yeah.
the word goodbye too literally. And I think that kind of lines up with a general, I mean, we need to address this point. That's the one thing I'm looking at here. If this is how it comes across, then we need to address that point more readily. We need to say more about goodbye than we have said.
Creativity, the 7-word system can be applied to creative pursuits such as writing, art, or music. For example, you can use the principle of saying hello to connect with other creatives and collaborate on projects, use the principle of saying thanks to express gratitude for inspiration or feedback, and use the principle of saying goodbye to let go of self-doubt or negative self-talk that may be holding you back.
Nah, don't like that at all.
All of this is a bit woolly, right?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
What process would you use to analyze any situation according to the system?
I haven't read this one yet. I typed it just as we joined the call. So to analyze any situation according to the 7-word system, you can use a simple process that involves the following steps. 1, identify the situation. First step is to identify the situation you want to analyze. This could be a specific event, a challenge you're facing, or a decision you need to make.
Correct.
2, identify the relevant principles. Next, identify which of the 7 words principles are relevant to the situation. For example, if you're facing a difficult decision, you may need to use the principles of saying no to set boundaries, saying please to ask for guidance, and saying yes to take a calculated risk.
No, don't like it.
Apply the principles. Once you identify the relevant principles, apply them to the situation. This could involve taking action based on the principles, such as setting a boundary, expressing gratitude, or asking for help.
No, this is bullshit, basically. It's good bullshit, but it's bullshit. It's generic and not really the answer at all that I would give. None of this.
Okay. Let's reflect and adjust. Okay, so it's giving us an example. You're feeling overwhelmed at work and struggling to manage your workload. Principles, saying no to set boundaries. It's basically repeating the same content, isn't it?
Yeah, that actually works quite well.
Because as a certainly as a
guide,
as a framework, yeah.
Yeah.
So we could maybe utilize some of this in some writings, this format. Application, you decide to say no to taking on any additional projects until you catch up on your current workload. You also ask for a colleague for specific help with a specific task. Finally, you let go of a task that's been causing unnecessary stress and taking up too much of your time.
Yeah.
Reflection.
Very good.
Yeah. Reflection and adjustment. After implementing these principles, you notice that you're feeling less overwhelmed and more focused at work. You decide to continue using these principles to manage your workload more effectively in the future.
That's excellent, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, I really like this this format to come up with.
Yeah,
By using this process to analyze situations according to the system, you can develop a deeper understanding of the principles and how they can be applied to different situations.
That's very good. I mean, considering how bad the previous one was, this is very good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I think your point about recalibrating this system with our input, our response to it, and equally changing, by dealing with the errors of omission, our emphasis on certain meaning, like please was understated, goodbye was also understated in its more profound meanings, So I think excellent though. I mean, really, it's just excellent.